from the Pathway Studios in Johnston proper. You are live from the path.
Listening to Live from the Past, just for these last half a second or so. Why are you doing it, making that noise?
I'm trying to do an impersonation of you.
No. Hey,
it was good.
No, check this out. What's the most expensive vehicle in the Middle East?
Here we go.
A Cadillac.
It wasn't funny in the Facebook Messenger group. It wasn't funny to your children.
Nathaniel.
It is now not funny to this group of men.
First time.
And it will also not be funny to the people that watch the show after it.
Okay, Dan, did you laugh?
I did not. Not even on the inside.
Okay.
Dan's an easy laugh too.
I'm really easy.
Like Dan will chuckle if you like make hot cocoa differently than usual.
I'm a laugh slut.
He'll go, "Oh man, what did you just say?" Dan, you are not the Howard Stern shock factor of this show.
I'm just saying, I'm an easy laugh.
Oh man, double entendre in it.
What are you guys? What of all people in my world that I know, why would you guys be shocked?
I mean, I don't know about shocked.
Dan makes a point.
That's true. We're terrible.
I feel sick.
I'm just saying, I had to turn the second, thrift store priest junior away from Dan for his comments before we even started the show.
We're getting a real wild Dan tonight.
Okay, all right. Hey, you're listening to Live from the Path. Thanks for hanging out. We got a full...
Dad's superhero alter ego is the nude dude.
Oh, that's terrible, Dan.
That didn't have to happen. It didn't.
It did.
All right. Anyway, here's what we got going on the show tonight. So it's been a full decade since Buva and Nathaniel were both in the studio at the same time, and so
wait, Nathaniel, how many books you read between now and then?
4.
I think probably 6.
Probably. I got through
3 of them were children's
books
books to his kids.
I got on a real kick there for a while, and then I broke it off.
I have a habit of starting books, and I really like them, and I for some reason just stopped reading them just out of sheer boredom. And I probably started 6 books in the last 6 months.
Wait, how far do you get into the books before it's boredom hits?
Chapter 3 or 4 usually.
Sweet Moses.
Yeah.
No, there's no powering through just to figure out what's happening or trying to get cared, whatever.
Yeah, they're never storybooks though. I never read the story.
I suppose that's a valid point. I don't
books.
see Mike picking anything.
I don't know
besides
how do you guys
World War II history book.
Keep going through books. Like, what do you do to make yourself keep going?
We don't just read the history of engineering.
Well,
no. I mean, I will say that
Generators for Dummies.
I get about halfway through and then go, I don't want to read this anymore, and then I say, but you should, and so I do.
Right? Yeah.
I've been on
read
a roll.
books you don't like. We need to make that a deal.
I mean, yeah. I've been on the biggest roll of my life the last few months, and then like I'm on now, reading one that has taken me forever. I just it's one of those. It's making goals, and so or habits. It's a habit thing. So it's like a self-help, and I'm like
21
stupid.
habits of highly effective people.
What a crappy one
to
give up halfway, Dan. Right, the one that's telling you.
Those are the worst ones. The self-help books. You're like, I don't even care enough to get through it.
I'm like, I get it. I mean, it's like nothing about it is rocket science, but it's like, yeah, that makes sense. I don't do that. I should do that. It's how to make good, healthy habits and stuff, and how to not have bad ones. And so it's good, but it's like. It's taken 3 chapters to say what you can say in one. It's like he obviously had a publisher deal that needed more pages, and so I've just really I'm powering through it, but I'm powering slow.
Yeah, we should do a self-help book that's like 3 pages long. We should make a Live from the Path self-help book. Oh, that's only a few pages, so it's easy to get through, and then at the end we just go, just stop being a boob.
Actually, this is not a bad idea, to be honest, because most of the notion it's
the first time Ben has ever said that to something I've said on this show.
I didn't say it was a good idea.
Of course not.
I excluded it from being bad. But think of it, even most of the time when you hear a sermon, you don't remember the whole thing. There's one thing that you took away and you said, you know what, I should date my wife, or I got to get in the Word more often, right? And so we really should just take the top 1,000 Christian books and say, look, what was the point, dude? What are you saying? Commit to Scripture and share it with people around you. Chapter 1. Page 1, that's it. Chapter 2, what's the next one?
They'd actually be easier than you think because they give it away in the title most of the time.
Yeah. Read the title of a book. You kind of get it.
This is what it's about.
The meat is just me getting more money for this book deal. Right. The title is me going, hey, stop being an idiot, and here's 12 ways to not do it.
Yeah.
This is the book I'm reading, Atomic Habits: The Easy and Proven Way to Build Good Habits and Break Bad Ones by James Clear. It's like a big, highly known. Everybody loves it.
Wow.
And I'm like,
I read that one.
It's a heck of a
Did you?
chewy
Yeah.
title.
Yeah, I read it.
That's one of the 6.
What did you think of
is.
it?
I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually.
yeah, it's not bad.
Have you
It's
changed
just-
your ways since reading it?
Yeah, some.
That was a lot of confidence in that answer.
I mean,
Well, so there was a big deal. A guy, I don't know if he did a TED talk or if it was a TikTok or YouTube thing or something like that, where he said like he reads a book a day.
Oh.
And everybody freaked out. They were like, "Oh, we got to be like reading through like 250 pages a day on this different stuff." And then he came out and said, "Well, no, that's not what I do. I don't read a whole book every day. What I do is I pick up a book and read until I grab like a nugget of wisdom out of it, and then I, sit back and reflect on that nugget of wisdom, and then I call that my I read a book today thing." And everyone, well,
Oh,
that's
wait.
really cool.
It's like saying I cleaned the house when really he like swept a corner
Yeah,
of the
exactly. He
bathroom.
swept everything under the carpet. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
I
liar.
washed up one of the
Yeah,
floors.
That's his whole thing.
It was huge. Everybody was saying like, you got to read a book a day, and then he literally came out and goes, "Well, I kind of read it till I see a passage I like."
Didn't say it was a whole book.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I never said I read through an entire book a day. I just said I read a book a day.
Do you think that makes the author mad that like he wrote 7,000 pages of books and you're like, yeah, I read like a page and a half, got what I wanted, and then threw the book away?
I don't know
But,
if
like,
I got
don't
paid.
care.
I wouldn't care.
Exactly.
I don't care if you never read it.
I feel like that author's goal was just to try and say something different than everyone else who's written a book.
Yeah.
And then that's all they felt they needed to do with the book deal, and they got paid for it. And the next time they'll do that again is when the money for the first thing they wrote differently than everybody else runs out. And then they go, "Oh, crap, I got to write another one." There's authoring.
I like this. I like this
Say that
idea.
knowing Dan's an author.
I like this. I like this Life from the Path book idea.
The thing is that books, by and large, the reason you remember something from a book is because there's a pithy anecdote to go
Right.
with it.
That's true. The hard truth that came at you, you have a hard time marrying it to something until if it's come up to a pithy
What?
anecdote.
Now hold on a second.
So, like I'm saying, like in a sermon, like the reason you remember I should date my wife is because the pastor told a story of how he dated his wife, and
then
you
at
think
the
to
end,
yourself,
here's the three
that
things
sounds
you need to
awesome.
do.
I want to do that.
Yeah, I'm
Here's
not
the
doing
five
Like,
that.
things
and,
that
and you
change
can't
your
do that
marriage
in a
today.
3-page book and cover every topic with a pithy anecdote. That's why books are so long.
Here's the deal. Just read the chapter titles. Just read the chapter
Have you ever
titles.
read
You'll
the
be
book
all
How to Read a Book?
Now hold on a
right. I
minute.
feel like that's
Hold on a minute.
It's like a
Nathaniel's,
200
Nathaniel's point is that you need the pithy anecdote. If you're just reading the chapter titles, you don't get the pithy anecdote. So why can't I just write a book of chapter titles?
Because nobody's going to remember it. And also, you're not going to remember just reading the chapter
That's
titles.
true. If I bought a book and the entire thing was just chapter titles, I would remember that forever.
That's right. You would
Because I
recall
would
it.
die laughing as I opened it up, expecting a bunch of pages, and then I read like chapter 12. Oh, that time I went down to the lake as a kid, and then there's nothing in it, and I just go, "That's
Yeah.
fantastic." I
Yeah.
would laugh hysterically.
Yeah.
at that.
Okay. Well, yeah. What if you could just tell it? What if you set it up like it was going to be pithy anecdote, like chapter 26. Read the word every day. Ted didn't read the word every day, and I punched him in the face.
I think we should
Chapter
do that.
36.
We need to do that just to see what the reviews will be on Amazon.
This is a great
That'd be
idea.
great.
Okay.
And we could make our own reviews on Amazon like every other product does.
Yeah, I read a book a day.
Okay.
I read these chapter titles,
Who
changed my
follows?
life.
He's a liar. He's an obvious liar. I can't believe people got gassed up about
That's a
that.
charlatan. Yeah.
Huge.
Here's the thing: the people say stuff like that. The first thing that comes to my mind is, you don't have a job, do you? Or kids, or a dog.
I
even.
think he's like a millionaire author, which is the funny part.
He's
and
a
so
millionaire
people listen
liar.
To him.
He tells lies.
Well, I mean, you're
How do you
talking about most
become
authors.
a millionaire as an author? I'm going to rehash this.
How do you
Who reads
become a
books?
millionaire?
Maybe I need to read more.
Yeah, it's probably you sell the books, and
Yeah,
then
but
you
who's
sell
buying the
yourself.
books?
I mean, people that go to a Barnes and Noble.
Suckers.
I don't know.
That's what you're saying. He's made money off the backs
Yeah,
of suckers.
Amazon. People that go to Amazon. People that get Oprah to put their like seal of approval on it, and then everybody goes, "Oh, I
You're
have
big
to
time.
buy this
Yeah.
book now."
Yeah.
And then you get those. You write 4 more books, and then you start selling yourself off to go talk about your books, and then that's where your steady income comes from. Is like, hey, I got paid $10,000 to go talk to Chick-fil-A, or I got paid $15,000 to go and host a Gatorade Award show or something.
And then Chick-fil-A buys 10,000 books to give to their employees.
Exactly.
And, I mean,
yes.
that's how. Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to do a cultural change based off of what this author's talked about. So we're going to spend $450,000 and really get this figured out for our organization.
So speaking of cultural change, check this out. There's an article on the Christian Post talking about 7 old-fashioned church growth ideas to consider today.
Oh, buddy.
What's old is new again.
Ooh.
So the question is that like just a quick sniff test? This sound like a good idea or no? All right, here we go. Number 1. He says this is from Chuck Lawless. As I think back across 40 years of full-time ministry, when did he start? When he was 13? Anyway, I'm reminded of some older ways we did church that could still work today. These ideas from years ago, in fact, make me wonder how we might use them today, full colon. Number 1, Friend Day. I know that's a strange thought in COVID days, but I trust we will move past these days at some point regardless. And for now, assuming we can provide proper space, there's value in challenging believers to make intentional efforts to invite their friends to church.
I always hated that.
Same.
I always hated that pattern of church growth because it's nothing more than inviting them to be a church attender, right? Like we're after way bigger things than this. I feel like that's a shallow reach.
What if you reframed it to basically you're intentionally focusing on your relationship with your friends?
Inviting someone into discipleship.
Yes, yeah.
Well, I think that's different than
that's
inviting
not-
someone to the church that you go to.
Yes,
Yes,
agreed.
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's not what he said.
No, I know.
You're
I'm just-
basically saying, here's what the guy said. I'm
In
going to
his
say
mind,
the
that's what
exact
he said,
opposite.
though.
I mean, I think
Right,
that's
yes.
what
Yeah, agreed.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's
That's
trying
what he
to
thinks
say.
he's saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right. So like
Yeah.
it's okay if there's a break in there somewhere.
Yeah, you remember, you guys are the generation that does the skipped.
Yeah.
So this goes back to
Yeah.
my beginning, and he's saying, yeah, it's come back around again.
Oh,
So
fair
you guys are irrelevant to the conversation.
Yeah, we don't matter. This is the
That
day.
happens to me a lot, Dan.
Day
Okay.
only.
Okay, so how do you feel about Friend Day, Dan?
They worked back in the day. And actually, I thought about it. Like, I mean, I would not call it Friend Day because
Yeah, I was
even
gonna say,
back then
that
I thought it was
feels weird.
dorky. Friend Day, everybody get a pink shirt, right?
Everybody
Friend.
comes to Friend
you know, I
Day
don't
and
know.
you'll get cookies from the church.
But a certain day where but the people have to like it. Or they won't invite the friends, and it's just stupid.
I think the thing that will work will be intentional about building your friendships and making certain that part of that friendship is understanding that person knows Jesus and then living that life.
Number 2, 24-hour prayer wall. In my day, church members signed up on the prayer wall, came to the church and prayed in 15 to 30-minute segments, though some older folks still prayed at home. Today, we can use electronic means to make the same commitment to prayer.
We just did one last weekend.
Yeah.
But I didn't know they did that back then. I thought we were like really cool.
24/7 prayer is
I mean, that's been going on for centuries.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, I never heard we're the only church I know of has ever done it in my world.
Right.
Yeah, everybody looked at you like you're stupid.
I was gonna say, I remember us
really
talking
cool.
about those
Yeah.
first 24/7 prayer rooms, and we were just super pumped about
Good
it.
idea. Eyes gloss over when you talk to other people. Like, yeah, I don't want to do that.
So,
That's weird.
do you find it to, well, so here's the deal. I might agree that this is a church growth idea, but not for the reasons stated.
Right.
Yeah,
Because
I never thought of it that
because
way.
the church is focusing and praying often on ways of which the good news can be heard in the world. I feel like that does grow the church.
Yeah, that's grown the church for 2,000 years.
Yeah. So okay, I'm thumbs up on that one. Just probably not for the thing that he's thinking.
Not because it's cool to say, oh yeah, we prayed as a congregation for 24 hours straight
Yeah.
for a whole week.
Really bizarre. Yeah, I'd say it's a total opposite gimmick.
Right.
Church growth.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Hey, come on, Bill. I know you've never been here, but we're gonna pray at this
Right,
wall.
exactly. Yeah.
Take
you
off your
don't- you
shoes,
feel
buddy.
uncomfortable about praying in church when you're not even praying, you're just bowing your head, right?
Come and
What do
hold
you
my
think
hand
about
for an
getting
hour.
involved? Yeah, exactly. Do you want to go into a dark room that's got casting crowns in the background?
Maybe
Yeah,
some
that's
sandalwood
tough
candle.
sell.
Okay. Number 3, Nathaniel.
Yes.
Annual Bible study. Every January. Annual Bible, like once a year?
Once a year, we crack the book open.
Okay. Hold on. Every January, we use 3 consecutive nights to teach through a book of the Bible. I'm convinced believers still want to know the Word. Well, good.
Oh, boy.
And they'll attend as long as we provide the strongest teachers. Weak teachers, though, will kill such a study.
Is learning the word something we need to figure out how to hash out? Like,
You
if
only
this
do it
is
for 3
important?
weeks? Am I miss? Did I
he
miss
say 3 days?
Well,
That's what I'm saying. It's the term annual Bible study that's really throwing me
Right,
off.
exactly, yeah. Well, once a year, we really dig into our Bibles.
You mean every time we meet, ever?
Is he
Yeah,
talking
it's
about a revival?
No, I think he's like a specific
sounds
focus to
revival.
say,
We're going to teach through a book of the Bible,
Yeah.
a truthful study.
January.
that's right.
The rest of the time, it's going to be topical conversations brought by the pastor with quippy anecdotes.
I was going to say, what do we do normally? Like, what's our regular
Right?
tactic? We don't know.
We go, when's the last time that you found yourself talking about peace with Jesus?
I hate that. This annual Bible study. I mean, why is the bar so low?
okay, now
We can only get people to tolerate 3 consecutive nights of Bible teaching,
pretty rough.
and it's only in January. By February, we're done. We
It's a
can't do
lack
it no
of-
more.
It's a lack of understanding the concept of what the Bible is supposed to do for your relationship and how your church builds.
Now, here's the thing. This is where I would like to quippy anecdote. I would like to know, like, the reaction to, like he says this is a growth idea. Like, he's tried this, and have you seen growth? Because the only people I think that are showing up to this 3-day whirlwind Bible study are people who are going to come anyway.
Right. They
Like-
were already doing this kind of stuff.
They're teaching
you
Hosea at
could
the
tell-
local Matthew 10.
You
Look
could
And
tell
they're the
these
ones who get
dudes-
to say that I learned Job this year.
You could tell them that we're having a vacuum party of the sanctuary on Tuesdays, and they'd show up.
I'll be there.
Right? You just tell
I'll be
them
there
that there's
early to
something
make the coffee.
happen at church, and they'll be there. These
Yeah.
are the people that would show up to a 3-day consecutive Bible study.
Yeah, it's the guys that like they were already doing this kind of stuff. Or again, it's a badge.
Okay.
They get to say, "Oh yeah, I
Now-
went this year."
That's just bizarre. Yeah.
10 years in a row, I've learned a book of the Bible.
That's a weird thing.
I want to know the background of this author.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. He's
where's he coming
a
from?
professor of professor of evangelism
What?
and missions and dean of graduate studies at Southeastern Seminary.
Wow.
What is
What's a
Southeastern?
professor
their
of
affiliation?
evangelism do?
I have no.
Just the
has
Quaker
an annual
church, or
Bible
is it-
study. They're really big on 24/7 prayer walls.
Like, so here's the thing: is that and so again, I'm gonna agree with him. He's just the 10 miles too short.
Right.
I do believe teaching the word actually grows the church.
Go ahead and do that every week.
Yeah,
Right,
let's,
exactly,
let's
yes.
fire that up.
This is our weekly Bible study.
Exactly. Yeah. Change annual to every time we gather in some way, shape, or form. We are.
Let's crack
we are-
this one
We are
open, boys.
crunching through the word of the Lord, and looking to be edified through it.
This is great. Here's the top 3 church growing tips so far. Number 1, tell someone else about Jesus. That's friend day.
Pray.
Yeah.
Number 2, pray. 3, read the Bible occasionally.
Yeah. This is a classic situation where this is a 400-page book that should have been 2 pages. That went,
Yeah.
You want to know how to grow your church? Well, first off, follow Jesus.
Yeah.
Second off, pray constantly and bathe yourself in that. Third off, read your Bible because you need to know who you're following.
It'd be funny to say, sir, this is a great list. Had you moved number 3 annual Bible study up to daily, I feel like you would have found the list in there already. And you wouldn't have had to reproduce it here.
How do I grow the church? I don't know. Isn't there a whole book that's dedicated to this?
Let me give you a hint. You might die before this is over. He comes back.
If you only hit it every January, you're never going to get to Acts. You'll be
Reasonably
62.
speaking, someone who is 1 to 66 may have not gotten Revelation. Year 66 is when we start talking about Jesus is coming back.
Boy, this
There's
poor
hope to
guy,
be held on
he's
to
been
and-
mired in all the Old Testament prophets, and he finally gets to Acts when he's 64 and goes, well, this has been helpful.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Well, cheese whiz. I could have seen this earlier.
Yeah.
Man.
Look how Paul went to the Corinthians. I wouldn't even thought of that. We can leave the building, turns out.
Imagine sitting a year on Malachi.
I wish I wouldn't have smoted all those people.
The problem
Like,
with
man, I suck at tithing.
the real rub of Friends Day is those Corinthians weren't my friends.
I've been tapping this water with this stick for 20 years. Nothing happens.
All right.
Oh, man.
Chuck's well intentioned. Number 4.
Okay. That's weird.
Nathaniel.
Expect more of them.
They've got a 42% graduation rate.
42%.
At
Sounds
South.
like they're having a completely
At
different.
South-
We only read the
Southeastern?
Bible once a year. They can't pass the test.
But a 92% acceptance rate.
Oh,
It's not good.
Something's
but
imbalanced.
they invite their friends.
Professor of evangelism.
Here we go. Prayer chain.
Oh.
We did it via telephone then, but it worked this way, full colon. Someone in need of prayer called the prayer line, comma, and the leader called the next prayer warrior on the list, ... Who edited this? Who then called the next person, comma, and so on. Today, we can easily enlist members in groups who stand ready to pray as soon as they learn of a need, most likely by electronic means.
You know what helps with that? Being in legitimate community with people and being comfortable enough with somebody to go, hey, man, this is really rough and we could use some prayer on this.
I hope
And
that's
not
what he
awkwardly
means.
going, yeah, not awkwardly going, hey, you put your prayer request on the Facebook, and then the pastor retweets it, and then makes certain that it gets to
Well,
the right people.
Yeah, is the rub here is that like you wouldn't a prayer line is an impersonal destination.
Right.
When if we've done discipleship well and our community well, the question is when I need prayer, I text the people in my community.
Right.
I
I
just
know them already.
I didn't call them the prayer chain. They're
Yeah,
just the
exactly.
people in
Yeah,
my
it's
community.
The same rub. It's
I
just
better
a
call
totally different way
Margaret.
to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Margaret knows everything. I mean,
Exactly.
there are certain people. Now here's the,
prayer warrior. They're on the prayer chain every year.
now here's the thing. I do like the notion of a prayer warrior.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
do
yeah.
So do
like
I.
I like someone who's like, you know what, who be praying on that? I tell you who be praying on that. Jill. Just
Yeah.
tell Jill. She's on it. I think that's great to have.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we all know that Susan, she gets the news and she just shares it with her neighbor, and she
That-
doesn't even pray.
That's right.
Town gossip.
Yeah. You hear what
That's
I
the person
hear?
that just texts back, done, before they pray.
Wilbur's got the hammer toe.
Hey, what is hammer toe?
I don't even know.
What does that mean?
I feel like the Lord's already left it, and then any amount of going to him with it, he's going to be like, sorry, I've already made a decision. Hammer toe stays.
Don't Google.
Here's
Was that
the
you
thing.
saying I shouldn't Google? I'm going to Google it.
The
Is
prayer
it-
chain, it seems like that would be something that would be a part of the people that's already in the church.
Right.
And isn't this like how to
Yeah.
Yeah.
evangelize?
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
that's what
How
I was saying,
does
that-
that grow a church? Like,
That's-
I'm not going to get a random text message from a number that says, hey, we need to pray for Jill's hammer toe. And I'm like, man, I really do need to get to church.
Well, that's what I say. I was hoping he was talking, like you mentioned, community, like like kind of putting your two together. Like,
Right.
my neighbor has a hammer toe, and I was like, well, let me invite you to my community. They're all
that's
going to
true,
pray.
yeah.
I
Love
hope
on
that's
that
what he
person.
meant, but I don't know.
You want to grow your church, you find out about this stuff in your community, you love on them and show them how Jesus works in action.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
You go, hey, I heard you're having trouble with rent or your house burnt down. Here's a bed for a couple of nights. Here's $2,000 that we've worked together. We're going to make certain we get you taken care of and put up a hotel so we can get the fire insurance to get in there and fix it.
Yeah.
Number 5, care group shepherding. Each small group had care group leaders who were responsible for shepherding an assigned list of members of the small group. If, for example, a small group member missed a gathering, the care group leader would follow up that week to check on him or her. This kind of follow-up in ministry is still in order. And people should notice when you're not there.
Right.
Yeah.
People should reach out to you because they're thinking about you anyway.
And then don't launch guilt at that person that goes, hey, we noticed you weren't there this week.
What were you?
I mean,
doing?
you just don't have to say it in that Victor from the Young and the Restless
sinister
voice.
tone kind of makes it worse.
Yeah, yeah.
Was it football?
Hey,
or
man, we're
Jesus
just
this
checking in.
weekend? What
How's
did
it
you
going?
choose?
Nathaniel's like, hey, I was out of town.
I did that to Nathaniel 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
I
someone's
don't
not.
wanna put that
Yeah.
hammer toe when I come in.
Now, here's
I
the
don't
thing.
remember what I was doing.
As a matter of fact, I remember this happening to someone I know where they weren't just kind of stopped going to a church and like no one ever called them. Now, here's the thing: it's not there's like you should go to church anyway. But like it does matter to people. Like it does mean something. It's they physically feel cared for, loved, missed. When someone goes, hey man, I looked for you and didn't take you in, and I just wanted to see how things were going, and that matters as it should matter to people because the Lord doesn't do the same thing. Like because everything that the Lord might check in on you on, like He's well aware of already.
Right.
Hey, how's it going? I know how it's going. I created you. Like it's just like everything but we still do it because there's a notion of relationship there, and so maybe just like if there's something to take away from this, it's like, hey, this is like full permission. Just check up on somebody. No, you're not hounding them. No, it doesn't. Like it's not going to creep them out by going, hey, I noticed you weren't here this week. Just wanted to call and check in. To Booba's point, don't accuse them of anything.
Right.
Just check it because if you're calling to say they should have been here, maybe that's wrong. But if you say, look, where are you at? I expect to see you and I didn't see you. How's it going? Like that's way different.
Yeah.
And that's totally fine.
So again, call me a psycho, but this seems like
You're a
maybe
psycho.
a retention practice
Yeah.
rather than a
It's not growing
I
a
don't know
church.
how that grows it.
Yeah.
Wonder what they paid this guy for this article.
$3.
You think it's a paid article?
Well, I mean, they published the stuff. They got to pay for it.
Huh.
Hold on. It was originally on churchanswers.com.
Sounds like a great site.
Did anybody?
Churchanswers.com.
Okay. Oh, hold on. We're gonna look at the responses here. All right.
shutting it down.
That hammer toe is pretty disgusting looking.
I didn't think it'd be a pretty
Here we go.
site.
Number
That's why
6.
we're praying.
Weekly small group leaders training. Oh
Weekly
boy.
small group. Okay.
Every week. Wait, you're training your small group leaders more often than you're teaching the Bible?
Right.
I'm just saying something about.
That's right. We're going to get to Bible out in January, but I want to talk to Hank every week. I don't know what's going on over there.
Every week we met together to pray, to discuss the next week's study, to follow up about guests, to do training, and to encourage each other. In fact, we enlisted small group leaders with this expectation in mind. Even if we do it via Zoom these days, building a team of small group leaders will make a difference. I think there's totally value in this.
Right.
Yeah, I think there is. Depending on the size of your joint. But I think you do got to be careful. Like this, the smaller place you are. Actually, this is even true for bigger things too. I guess in my mind, but like, there is a notion of tying people up. Like, oh, I'm at church 4 nights a week. Okay, well, I mean, are you living in your community? Like going to kids' ball games and like having dinner with people around your neighborhood and inviting people over and going to visit and stuff like that. Like if you're too tied up in that stuff because of the structure of where you're at, like there is a risk to that. It will feel good and holy. There's a risk to that.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I mean, if you're gonna have people lead things, good night. You don't just spin them off into the wind. I think people need that, and it's good to make sure that you're checking in and do. I don't know if I do it weekly, but yeah, there's certainly value in it. Dan, what do you think?
I think at least monthly.
Oh yeah, okay,
Yeah.
check in once a month. Yeah, I like that. All right, here we go. 7, weekly contact groups. In this process, a group of members met at the church each week to contact other members and guests. About what? Some made phone calls, some wrote notes, some made personal visits, and some covered the whole process in prayer. How do we do this would likely be different today, but intentional, ongoing contact will pay dividends.
That I agree with absolutely.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you make it less corporate
Yeah.
and put the actual emotion into it of we're growing a community here rather than just, the one touch a week for Sundays, if you build it into the perspective of, hey, man, people have lives 7 days a week. It's not just I'm a person on Sundays and then we never talk until then. Like, this is intentionally building community and friendships and fellowship of, like, we're getting into the nitty-gritty of your life. Like, you can put on a mask on Sundays, but if we're talking multiple times a week, if we're actually building a fellowship and having conversations, you get into the real stuff and the less manicured faith that they have that are on Sundays versus, like, the, man, it's Tuesday and it's rough today, and I need to talk to you about it.
But what I don't like about it, I think there's a reason it probably went away for the most part, is that it's a corporate level thing. It's okay, everybody's
Right.
making 15 phone calls,
Yeah.
and check, that's done. And,
Right.
I mean, it's not like, hey, I'm in this community group with you, and I know you have hammer toe, and I
Right.
seen pictures. I mean,
It's
that's got to be
nasty.
awful. I mean, it's just
Joe,
different
you
than
got to get this figured out. That thing
Yeah.
is gross.
get out of the canoe because that river water is not going to be good on it. And
Is that a problem?
that's different than, hey, I'm here at church and we're having calling night.
Right.
And
Yeah, that's
And
true. I
you're
guess I
on the-
didn't
and
realize
you're
it
on
was
the
like
list,
I
Earl.
didn't realize it was
Yeah.
a call list. Like, literally, I need to call 15 numbers tonight.
Now-
That's awful.
I mean, I'm assuming that's what it. Yeah.
That makes sense. I wouldn't have run 40 years ago. So.
Yeah, so I mean, here's the thing. So here's where I think there's a balance in here somewhere. Is that like I get itchy feelings on exactly what Dan is talking about. Like when something feels corporatized, when really what we're trying to do is get people to ingrain it in their day-to-day lives.
Yeah.
Like you don't use the structure as a means of which people don't integrate it day to day because the structure is supporting their kind of one-off event orientation to do it. However, there is a reality to the fact that like people sometimes just don't know how to do that on their own.
Right.
And like there is a notion of shepherding people in that without otherwise causing them to feel satisfied on the singular corporate expression. Like, well, if I hand you the list, you'll call. But you're never going to integrate it in kind of your day-to-day life, because that's where we lack that's where discipleship becomes a problem. Is that like the only way people get discipled is they go through the discipleship class, which in and of itself isn't bad. But like we can either do that, but that's a little restrictive if you got 50 people in your church who could be making disciples outside of that class, but are so dependent upon the structure. And so like I am of two minds about it, where like the structure in and of itself is not bad. Because oftentimes people need to be shown it. They really do need to see it.
If you need to make a list on your phone, and that's how you are getting better at
Yeah.
reaching out to people, that's not inherently a problem.
That's right. Like if we were good at this, we wouldn't be talking about it all the
Yeah,
time.
exactly. Yes.
It's just is really thinking through how do we do this that shepherds people in the right direction without them becoming codependent on the structure.
Right.
Because that's really, it's not a failure of faithful people trying to share good news and disciple and teach the word. It's a success of Satan to otherwise tie up 50 people in one room as opposed to 50 people out in the world. That's where the success is.
That's fair.
Okay. All right. So as a whole, we say,
I think first off, I think the theme of it is kind of wrong for the content.
yeah, yeah.
A little corporate and weird in some ways, but
So this guy, there's two comments on the original blog post. Number one says, sounds a lot like the early church doing church. Old-fashioned can still work in the digital age. I'm not sure the early church had a
had a phone line
weekly,
chain.
yeah. Now, here's the thing. They were the purest expression of it.
Right.
You would say for every
Yes.
purpose that he's pointing at, the church can and should do that, and the early church probably nailed it. This is where, but we get separated from it. We try to modify behavior, to say we're supposed to pray. The only way I can get us to pray, I'm going to set up a meeting.
Set up a meeting. Yep.
Yeah, and like this is totally a corporate thing to do. Like this happens to me all the time. In fact, I looked this week. There's a particular thing that I'm involved with at work, and no joke, I'm in 30 hours of meetings this week on this topic, and I'm like, this is hot garbage.
Yeah.
Because like nobody's doing any work. Like we're coming around and we're all chatting about it, and like we're all learning maybe things about the places where we think we're getting hung up. But at the end of the day, we leave only so that we can come back tomorrow and either talk about the same thing or talk about like the micro step that was there. And like there is a little bit of Jesus like kicking people out of the house. Like go and make disciples, not just hey, sit and soak until you feel super duper duper comfortable with it. Is like you're just going to have to go, and along the way you're going to pray, and I'm going to send the Spirit, and you're going to see some miracles to engage, keep your mind fresh with what the good Lord does. But like that's where I think the risk becomes is that like where corporate America burns billions of dollars in meetings and stuff, not accomplishing much, the church runs the risk in the same thing. And you're not going to burn $1 billion, but boy, there's just people who aren't meeting Jesus, and we're not making like close relationships because we've corporatized it up just a little. And so we just got to be, no one's doing that on purpose. You just got to be cautious of it. You got to be aware of it. Okay, second guy says, oh, he's got ideas. How about a combination Palm Sunday procession and prayer walk? This can be done wearing face masks and maintaining a safe distance between participants. If it was an Anglican church, someone might lead the way with a processional cross. Everyone else would carry, this is going to grow the church, everyone else would carry brightly colored banners on the end of a pole or a leafy tree branch. Doesn't have to be a palm branch.
This is why we don't have committees.
Yeah. Wait a minute. He's not. No. He's got this thing planned. Just
Yeah.
make sure the leaves and sap are not poisonous.
He's thinking of everything.
Good call,
Boy
Chuck.
Scouts of America style, making certain that they check the poisonous.
Yeah. There's a setting of all glory, laud, and honor in the hymnal 1982 that can be sung without accompaniment. He's really thought about this.
Man, how about if we just design a shirt that says "Jesus is my rock" and we all wear it?
Right.
Yeah.
That'll
And
grow
then
the
make
church.
certain that all of our friends see us wearing it.
Yes.
Yeah. Who's your
We're gonna
rock?
have to ask about it when they see it. Wait, Jesus is a rock?
Can we put Dwayne Johnson on the front with an X
Oh yes.
over his
Yeah.
face?
Jesus is the rock,
Yeah.
not this
Yeah.
guy.
False rock.
Little Rock.
Arkansas?
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to finish out this. Okay, the idea is to process around, it's not right, around the neighborhood in which the church is located and to stop in front of each house, pray for the occupants, then bless the occupants before moving on to the next house.
Hey, man, here's the deal. I love the thought process of thinking your community that way.
I
think that's
do.
great.
The banner's
But that is
terrible idea.
awful. Yeah, you're creepily walking through flag style.
This
weird.
This was old. Like when I went to college in 1982, I would have been like, "What?"
Right, yeah,
this
exactly.
this is 1950 stuff.
Oh, man, that's rough.
Do a procession. I mean, now here's the thing. Let me ask you this question. If you saw a church that came, like if a church came out to my house, and I live a bit outside of town, with these banners and processionals and stuff, my first reaction would be, what in the flying crap is this? But
Margaret, get the
What are those
gun.
banners?
But I'll tell you this. I bet it would take me about 30 seconds, and I go, I don't like this at all, but this is cool.
Yeah, like, hey,
Like-
thanks for organizing and thinking of me.
yeah.
I'd just not like it at all.
That's the
And
thing
I'd
is it
hate
doesn't
worse as
feel
the
like
time went
you're
on.
thinking of them. Like to them,
No.
it doesn't feel that way, right?
I mean,
I think most of the church growth thing, I think we're missing it is like, church growth happens when individuals exist in the world,
Yeah.
right? Teaching other people about who Jesus is, right? On an individual basis. Almost any time a church goes out as a group, it automatically feels like an us versus them, even if it's not intended to, right? As soon as you go out as a group, all you know is that you're not part of that group, and this big group of folks is coming over to talk, and you're like, I'm not part of this group.
Hey, that's a really good, outside of like what we see in the upper room, most of the stories in, like think of all the stories in Acts, and like how many of them are there are like one guy. We're going to focus in on Peter and Cornelius. We're going to focus in on Paul and a group of people. Now, like, I mean, certainly early, they got arrested together. And so, like, some of the stuff in the temple, yes. But, like, as the good news spread, like, it wasn't 50 of them.
Right.
It might have been a dude and a dude.
There's too much ground to cover.
Yeah, they went Latter-day Saint style.
I mean, just
Oh, man.
I think church growth happens when obviously the mindset of the church getting together. I love the thought of a daily prayer, like of everybody, right? They get together. It's impossible because of kids and jobs and whatever, but like everybody who can make it gets together 6 a.m. We start our day out submitting everything that we're doing to Jesus and saying, "Show us something new today. I'm up. Whatever you got." And then that's it. You're done holding hands with your church people today. Now you're out in the world, right? You are representatives of the gospel for wherever you're going. And so, and then you bring people into the community as it seems right to bring them into the community.
Right.
You don't invite them just because it's a special friend day. Once again, it's them and you. They know that they don't belong there
Exactly.
because they don't know Jesus, and it feels weird. And all these people know Jesus, and they don't. It feels weird.
Yeah.
Right now, if they're starting to know Jesus or they want to be in a community, yeah, great. I think you should bring them in. But like, if we could even have a explanation for the faith that we have, that's it. That's all we need. We don't need a pastor to straighten it up, right? We need your life to be telling a story and your words to back up the truths that you know, and the fact that you can look somebody in the eye and go, look, I know that you have a hard time believing sometimes if God is real, and frankly, I'm with you, but I've seen him show up. I've seen him. I've seen God do things. I've watched him change lives. I watched him change mine. So let me tell you about that, right? Like, that's church growth, because we're not really talking about church growth. We're talking about kingdom growth. Where they end up going in a building is completely God's to decide, not yours at all.
We are people that come from a kingdom that understands what truth is and what love actually looks like and is. And what we can offer is that in real world situations. We go out and then just live that. And then people go, I don't know what that looks like. I have no idea who you are or what you're doing. What's the point? What's the reason? Why are you loving on me when you have no reason to? Why are you showing me this concept of radical love when I don't even get that? That doesn't make sense to me. And then people go, well, who the heck are you talking about? And they see that rather than you coming to them and going, do you know Jesus? It's like, well, you look at me and you see Jesus. So we got to make certain that's how that shakes. And yeah.
Is there ever a place for it?
For
Like,
do you know Jesus?
No, is there ever a place for public church solidarity? Like physical, like a demonstration of church gathered.
I don't think so.
If I sat and thought about it for a while, I might come up with a few good ideas, but nothing off the top of my head, to be honest.
I just don't know how much of the needle we're moving for getting people to know Jesus. Now, like, it almost seems like it's for you, right? And it's something that we would definitely do in America, because it's like we have the right to do this and whatever, and so you're going to know who we are, you know? But, like, if the actual goal is to get people to know the God who created them, it's hard to go out in a group and not create an us and them.
So I don't know if this is a good distinction or not. I'm trying to think through it. But like, I think my answer is absolutely yes. There is certainly a time for this. And it's not because we want to grow the church. It's because we are the church. And so, like, where there is tragedy in your community,
okay,
your church better be praying on that. And if the natural inclination of the church is to come together and pray, like, there's no reason to hide from it. We go pray. We're going to pray at the thing. We're going to show up to like whatever makes sense to do. And you do it in service too. And so, like, here's the thing. I don't think the church needs to duck away from who they are. They just need to be who they are genuinely.
Yeah.
right.
So yes, I think there most certainly is a place for that. And I think it is short-sighted. People will see a difference to say, like, I don't know what's going on with all these people, but there is something different here. And you can tell that when the church isn't there posturing, when they're there just doing what they should be doing, and they're doing it in mass because it's appropriate.
So I have two reactions to the list. Number one, I hate everything about it.
Okay, Dan. Yeah.
But number two is an embarrassment, right? But number two, I like what he's just doing better than what most people are not doing.
Yes, fair.
So
I wonder if he is doing them.
Is the problem is that the kind of the thought process that's tough? Is like, we're like, yeah, this would be great if it was more organic, but it never organically happens.
Yeah,
and so
it
that's
organically
why.
happens by someone organizing it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay. Like, that's, we struggled with this. I'll be honest. We had so when we started the house church, like, one of the things, house churches are weird. They're like homeschoolers. Like, there's a million flavors of how people do this thing, and like a relatively popular one is kind of a leaderless one. It's like everybody shows up and kind of contributes. And I was thinking through that, and I was praying through that, and like I couldn't. I think there is a notion. It's false that people don't need someone to lead.
Right.
And I think I think the Bible actually bears that out. Like, God does actually find and help and appoint people to say, look, I need someone to function as the leader here. And it's not an authoritative, I'm better than you. It's just a role. It's a responsibility of which God gives his people. And I think pastors should think of themselves that way. And like, I think it's not that it can't be that it's implicit chaos, but just like think of what you're ingrained to know that you need God. You're ingrained, there's a notion of kind of the relationships that we seek out in marriages or other things to need and desire a connection to people. I think it's true that there are people in general, not everyone just does that. They just don't all lead themselves. They don't all organically do the thing that they're supposed to do. There are roles that God has for people to do to actually just bring them together and say, you know what we're going to do? We're going to do this thing. And like those 10 families or 20 families might have done something good on their own, but what it really took was someone just going, look, we're going to go do this thing. I'm going to go do this thing once you guys come with me. Like, well, okay, I bet he's doing it. We're going to do it. That's why a lot of times churches reflect like what the pastor cares about, churches tend to care about. Not because other people in the church don't care about anything. It's because like they have every intention of doing something, but it takes someone else's inertia to get them into it. And so it's not wrong or non-organic for people to lead things. That's not really the problem. It's if that person is constantly dragging you around, like if you're not actually joining with them to help serve in something, but like you're only doing it because they told you to, that's not healthy for them. And it's not healthy for the person leading either. But like I actually don't have I think we should be careful not to mistake organic with non-leader. I think that's not true. I think there is certainly a place biblically, spiritually, to have a non-authoritarian co-servant, but leader of a church or an organization.
Actually, I think you guys are right about that group thing. I didn't think about that, but like really, we should be able to show up at. Here's the thing. I was just talking to somebody last Sunday, and I said, "Boy, it's just amazing how much it means if you just show up, right? Just showing up is half the thing, right? And so, like, it does, as long as you're not making it about you. I think that's where I get turned off about it, and where I think that the church misses it. All right, like if they decide we're going to go out, or like there's a prayer vigil or something at somebody's house because an accident happened, like the church will show up in like matching T-shirts or whatever, and then bring a sign with them. You're like, what do you?
No, yeah.
You missed it, right? Like now, if you just gonna show up in your regular street clothes out of work, and you guys gather together as a community and pray for a family, I think that is the best and exactly what God created us to do, right? But like we just can't seem to not take the bait, right? We always got to be like, it's not Jesus that had us here; it's the United Methodists on the South Side that brought us here, right? Like you know what I'm saying? Like we can't.
This prayer brought to you by the United Methodist Church.
We can't stop putting the definition of ourselves in there instead of letting it just be God. And so like, if we were better at that, maybe I wouldn't be so leery, and maybe I'm unfairly leery. There's plenty of churches that are probably doing that. I just don't know that because they don't put the shirts on.
Yeah,
right. They're doing a great job of this thing, and like but like we get a bad name because it seems like it's during people's worst hour, we're going to go ahead and take the time to self-promote, and be like, come out Sunday. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
That's
join the Facebook group and come on out.
That seems disingenuous.
You know what the problem is though is like that is born sometimes out of just out of the very thing that we were just talking about, which is the reason people with good hearts who love the Lord and love people will show up in the shirts and with the coordinated candles and the sign that this prayer was brought to you by the United Methodist Church on Southwest 9th, okay, is because that what they're thinking is we're doing a good thing that hopefully people see the love of Jesus and then will then recognize that the love of Jesus exists at this church, and we think it would be good if they would come. Because if they come to our church, then they'll meet Jesus.
The problem is you don't have to manufacture that.
I know that. That's what I'm saying. It's like it comes to the church. It comes to a misalignment of I just need to help people get into the cog, get into the machine, because there's people who are smarter than me. Who, like, again, it's all done with the right intention. Yeah. But like that's why if you didn't feel like the only way that this person can meet Jesus is to come to your church and hear your pastor, who probably does love people and does a great job. Exactly. If you felt comfortable discipling people on your own, you wouldn't feel the need to have to do that. It's how you defer your ability to otherwise be part of somebody's life. And so, like we get it, but that's where as church leaders, be the example, show the example, schedule the classes, set up the leadership stuff. This is all great. Just figure out a way to do it without creating a dependence as if this is the structure that does it. This is the structure that teaches so that you may go and do it, so that you don't feel like you have to send it in here. You got 10 guys you're discipling on the side who haven't set foot in the building yet because they're not there. Because they can meet Jesus through Philip, who shows up and then disappears. Like this can be done without the structure, but like that's why we do it, because we don't trust ourselves, and we probably don't have confidence that the Spirit will help us do it, and so we want to put them into the structure so that they have to know where we came from, so they know where to go when they felt loved. And so, it's that's where we get a little bit tied up as a church, is like right intentions, right heart, faithfulness, but it doesn't have the output, or our potential is squashed because we've created a bottleneck in a structure.
Right.
That isn't the structure's fault, unless it's except for being wise about recognizing when that behavior is going on and trying to help people not get caught up in it.
Yeah, evangelism turns into, instead of me meeting people where they're at and showing them who Jesus is just by living it, it is the mechanics of, well, I'm going to evangelize to this person by bringing them to the Sunday
Because
church.
my pastor's good at
Because
saying
my
where this
pastor's
person's
great at it, and
That's
his
right.
words are going to be fantastic. They're really going to hear some real
That's
Jesus
right.
if they come to Sunday.
That's right.
Versus if I just talk to them because I don't know the right Bible verses, I don't know the quippy answers to, well, what about evolution?
Which is why you might be better with a mediocre pastor. like a guy. Here's the thing: is like if you create this notion that someone can't read the Bible without going, I can't understand this unless this person
Right.
teaches it to me. I can't have, like, you've made me feel dumb. I can't take it in.
Right.
Like, I'm way more concerned that people learn how to read the Bible than they remember some thought I had about it, because, like, one, there's no reason to create a dependence on you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the Bible is there, it's at their fingertips, and like they should be able to do this without you.
Right.
And so, frankly, the better you are as a storyteller, as a guy who tells whiz-bang things, who really, like, makes things come to life in such a way that people feel like they can't do it. Is Nathaniel dying?
No, I'm good.
He's getting fired up.
He got real jazzed up about something you
He's
said.
not on camera, so I can't tell
He
whether he's
slammed
dying.
down a can, getting ready to say some words.
Okay. Anyway, long story short,
Or not.
I'd rather have a mediocre dude who's faithful at teaching the word, who helps people make the Bible more accessible, than a guy who's got really whiz-bang stories that makes you say, boy, I read this, but I just can't get it. I got to wait till this guy explains it to me. Like, it creates it perpetuates a risk.
Yeah.
Because you will never
It's
be
the
the gregarious
self-importance of the
dude
pastor.
with great stories.
Right.
I only say that as a defense of myself because I tell terrible stories.
You really do.
I'm
You
just
are
awful storyteller.
I appreciate you.
All right, hey, you've been listening to Live from the Path. Thanks for hanging out. And if you're this fella who runs the Southeastern Seminary, if we got you wrong, you let us know. I mean, it sounds like Deathville. 515-517-0085. That's the Bob Eisenhower talk or text complaint line. And Bob agrees with us about your list.
Hey, and
so,
I will say that is used and monitored. So if you think that that's just going to go into a pit voicemail that never gets checked, it really does get checked. Trust me.
Oh, yeah.
It legit gets looked at. So if you're sitting on the fence going, I do have things I want to say to Live from the Path, and I do have opinions that I want to share, but I'm scared. I'm scared that it's just going to go into a void. It won't.
Yeah.
It won't be in a vacuum. You will be heard.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so, Nathaniel?
Yes.
10 years to this day.
To the day.
To the tick of this hour on the sundial.
We had manpower.
What were we talking about, and how were you and Buva in agreement, and who were you in opposition to?
Let me paint a picture for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
I'd just gotten off a shift at the Walgreens.
Feels good.
It's the greatest story ever so far.
I'd picked up some 50-cent half-off Arizona teas.
Arnold Palmer's.
I remember
Arnold
that.
Palmer's.
Yes.
Arnie Palmy alert.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Arnie
brought him
Palmy
in.
alert.
I sat him down. And I forget what the article was about, but I think it came up in an article or something like that. And we had this conversation about whether or not it was okay to call, like, God bro or something like that.
The reverence of the conversation with Jesus.
Like you were going to open a prayer with, like, hey, bro.
Hey, bro.
Hey, Broseph.
Okay,
Hey,
yeah.
Jesus, bro. It's just me
Yep.
here talking to you as a bro because, we're bros or
Yeah.
something like that.
Blood bros.
And Troy and I were in agreeance, which is not a real word, but that's what we were.
Yeah.
And I
And
honestly,
in the pro,
I was
yes,
19.
you could
Just
do
heads
it.
up.
I was 18.
I was 19 and I did not know a real Jesus.
We were
You could
young.
call him dog. Hey, dog.
Anyways,
What's up,
Ken
homie?
is on fire tonight. On fire. Okay, so you and Buva are in agreement at the time
Yeah.
that it's
About-
totally okay to
It's
refer
totally
to.
cool. Yeah,
and I think it was like a 30-minute.
it was a
at
long one.
least.
I
It was
remember
long.
once he brought it up to me today. I realized I was like, oh man, we really did. We went fiery into this. We were like, no. There's no lack of reverence in this. I am having a real relationship with my Father. by being willing to call him bro because it's real.
Yeah.
It's what I'm feeling, and I'm not afraid of my feelings with God.
Yeah.
So I'm going to call him bro when I feel it.
I remember there being like raising of voices and things like that,
Wow.
and splashing of Arnold Palmer's.
Yeah.
And again, you asked this. We haven't determined it. It was against the two of you. It was Mike and Ben versus us.
Yeah.
I would have been on the Mike and Ben side because I do recall this.
Yes.
I just
think
don't
you were
yell.
on their
I
side.
sit back and pray for you guys.
Dan was like, I'm
Yeah.
hoping that age will come from
I had
them.
to text my prayer list partner.
That's right. Don't
I
worry. I'll
couldn't-
pray
I
for you,
honestly-
dog.
Boo's
I-
got the hammer toe, and he thinks it's okay to call God bro.
I couldn't remember if Dan was there or not. That
Thank you.
night. But I think that's maybe because of the
Dan,
lack of.
Dan, you didn't make a splash
lack of
on at the
yelling.
time.
I used to wear colorful shirts.
I do remember that.
We remember all of them. I remember leaving the studio and then thinking, I think Mike's mad at me.
I
Well,
think
that couldn't have
after
been the
that-
first time, Bubba.
I think Mike's no, that was before our fight.
Okay.
It was before our fight. That was a fun time. We should probably never talk about. But I remember having a thought, and I was like, man, I feel like Mike's mad at me because I'm not like Father God, all this stuff. And I said, I might have been not arguing, bro. I think I was arguing for like dad.
Yeah.
I don't remember ever once in my life going, hey, bro, to anyone, first off, let alone God. Because I kind of skipped the bro and went straight to boss.
Or-
and
yeah,
Ben
chief.
and Mike and chief
Yeah.
and boss was my deal. But
Yeah.
I never called
Those
God
were-
boss.
Those were the old chief and boss saga
Oh,
days.
boy.
And
I
you
almost
couldn't
called
shut it
somebody
down.
boss the other day, and I thought to myself, would Mike and Ben be appreciative of me calling somebody boss? Nope,
No,
then you're not
I
doing
can't
it,
think of
Bubba.
anybody in the world that's appreciative of being
It's
called.
rough
Hey,
stuff.
boss.
What?
But no,
That's not how moving. You go, hey, boss.
Yeah.
It's always like a boss.
What?
Yeah.
I went all crawfish on the
B-O-
situation.
B-O-W-S.
Boss.
Like Colonel
What's-
Sanders.
What's up, boss? How you doing?
I mean, I walked
I'm
into
a
the
lot more
kitchen
dirty
tonight.
grammar than I thought I was.
And he said, I walked into the kitchen tonight, and I'm pretty sure you called me Big Dog or something
I
like
did
that.
call you Big Dog. 'cause
Hey,
I'm-
what's going on, Big
I'm
Dog?
cool with the honesty of Big Dog in my thoughts because that's really what I say to people. But boss was just me trying to be like, I don't know what I was trying to do. It wasn't great.
There was
It
a
wasn't
guy.
good time.
I was at lunch at a cafeteria today, and the guy came in with, we went to go through the line, and I got like salad dressing from this gal, and she said, "What can I get you?" And I said, "I'll take the blue cheese or whatever." And then she looks at the guy that I'm with and goes, "What can I get you, Big Daddy?" I'm like,
Oh,
First off, what?
yeah,
Second off, you're a blue cheese man?
yeah, it's got no sugar in it.
What?
Patow.
I hated three things about that, and I'm not even going
Wait,
to take the time to
wait.
list them.
Patow.
no. no.
What is this crab plus thing you're doing here? Patow and no sugar blue cheese.
Yeah,
I want that to stop. So she called. So she looked at you.
no
and-
comment.
No, nothing. And then she looked at the piece of man hunk next to you.
Big
and goes,
Daddy.
Calls him
You
Big
ain't Big
Daddy.
Daddy, Mike.
Yeah,
There ain't no Big Daddy
And
sitting
he-
in that chair.
he looked at me and said, "We're not coming here when she's working anymore." Out of
man,
sheer awkwardness.
I think my like Big Dog and like guy. First off, it's because I'm a terrible people person and I never remember 50% of the
People
that
know
meets
that.
names.
People
They
know that's why you're
they
calling
know
them
that. But
Pops and
secondarily,
Big
every
Daddy.
person on the planet that doesn't know me calls me Big Guy. Everyone, every single person is, "Hey there, big guy. What's up, big fella? Hey, big man." I'm like, okay, I am in my own body. I am fully aware of what I am. I do not need you to remind me every time you see me.
So that begs the question: if you know that they're placating you with the big guy, big fella, big buddy,
Why do I reciprocate it?
yes,
Dang it, truth. Hit with truth. Big dog's got to stop. Hi, Nathaniel. What's up, brother?
Howdy.
Hey, that's a factual statement. We're good there. Brother's
yeah.
cool.
Hey, full name.
Hey, actually, is brother cool? Or am I Hulk Hogan in it?
Hey, brother.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's a
again,
guy at
I don't
work.
think I'm going straight to "Hey, brother."
No.
Like, I'm
He,
not Dog the Bounty Hunter. I'm just asking.
He calls people brother, like
creepy?
a youth pastor would.
Oh, no.
Like, hey, brother.
Man, I
why
just-
isn't this conveyor belt working, brother?
Okay, I'm with Nathaniel that like if you're gonna call people brother, it has to be in a lower octave.
yeah.
Hey,
you
brother.
can't. Yeah, yeah.
That's
There's
creepy.
got to be a solution, brother. And I'm like, okay.
Okay.
I'm
send
sure
it-
there is. Let's
I'll
tone
go
it
look
down.
at the
I
PO.
think the solution to this situation is not to repeat brother over and over again.
Yeah.
Hey, brother, could we take a look at this conveyor belt, brother? That's horrifying in any situation.
So I got
Is
Jesus.
brother back? Dang it, whatever. I'll
I
figure it
got
out.
Jesus shamed earlier this week because this guy I work with was telling me this story, and he's like, "I hate this guy." This guy that we were working at a site, and one of the guys that works for the site, he'd picked up like this big old honking breaker or whatever, and he was going to carry it out to the truck. But the guy that was helping him had left, and so one of the other guys that actually works for the place that we were at comes in. And the guy goes, "Hey man, is there any trucks outside?" And this dude looks around and goes, "There's lots of trucks outside." not knowing he was asking to see how far away the truck is to carry the breaker. So anyway, he tells this story, and he hates this guy. He goes, what a jerk. He wouldn't even tell me how many trucks or where the truck was. I'm like, he probably had no idea what you were talking about. I don't understand why this is a big problem. So it turns out the exact same guy, someone had gone up to talk to him early in the day and knocked on the window, and he had rolled the window down and said, shut up, you are ruining my prayer time. During work hours, right? He's having a quiet prayer time, and then he on site around other people, right? And then some guy didn't know that, just wanted to talk to him, and he totally like Jesus shamed the guy. And so now I'm taking a bunch of crap because I represent the Jesus part of the team, and they're like, "What's the deal with you people and your prayer time?" I'm like, "Whoa, hold on a minute,
Hold
whoa,
up. We're not
whoa.
all 15-minute break prayers.
Yeah, I don't understand what's happening right now. I don't know why I'm getting in such big trouble." Okay, so anyway, we were talking about that conversation, and I'm still exactly where I was before. I think, I mean, I guess I can only approve it because it's what I say and based on what Jesus says. Jesus said, Father, I say Father. So, and that's where I stick with.
I feel like I'm half and half now. I would never call him bro.
That's no good.
Daddy's creepy. I don't care.
Yeah.
Daddy God is straight up weird.
Yes.
I say dad more often than anything, though.
Yeah.
Now, I can see why you don't like it.
It's not that I hate it because
right.
Because it's not that you don't want to there's an intimacy to your relationship, and like we have language that
Right.
carries with it a connotation,
Right.
whether it's wrong, right, or indifferent, right? But the ultimate risk is like it's Aslan, right? Like
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like just so you know, you're not just talking to dad. You know, like so.
I think for the first 15 years of my fake prayer life, I would say Heavenly Father because I thought it sounded reverent, and that was the only part of my prayer that was actually reverent. Because the rest of it would just be like, just help me with my chores.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to the release of the newest Pokemon movie.
Yeah. I'd like to steal
and,
things and not feel bad about it.
And I know we've
If you
been
could help
talking
me with
about this
that.
Heavenly Father for a while. If we can figure out the whole calorie thing and how that can no longer affect me, I'd really appreciate that.
Yeah.
But again, your will be done, not mine. But if cheeseburgers can magically no longer make
I want
me
to have
fatter,
7.
I really feel like when they say bottomless, it's more of a challenge than a marketing ploy, and so I really need.
And
to
you
start
made me,
figuring that
Lord.
out.
You know the deal.
You gave me the desires that I had, Father. And so I went from Heavenly Father, like, I felt like I was being rude if I didn't say Heavenly Father. But it was all fake, so it was just all terrible. I shouldn't say that. It was not great. But nowadays, I say Father, I say Heavenly Father, I say Dad. I wouldn't probably go any, like, more
Nonchalant than that.
nonchalant than Dad. That's probably the most I get. I also find myself praying with, like, like, legit biblical names of God kind of deal more often than not now.
Oh, yeah.
Just because, like, I feel like I know them more and it's less, I say Yahweh with less, like, oh, I'm trying to sound like the cool guy in the prayer group saying Yahweh.
Yeah.
Watch me
To whereas
do
now I'm
Hebrew.
just like, no, this is a legitimate name that you call yourself. Like,
Oh man, I was reading something that I think it was somewhere in Ezekiel where, like, again, translation choices is they always translate Yahweh as like all uppercase,
yeah,
but lower.
YHWH.
Well, no, every modern translation, it's all caps the Lord, but in like lower
sorry.
font, and it reads dumb. Like there was where the book I was in, or the chapter I was in Ezekiel, it was like the Lord is like is God.
Ooh.
I'm like, well, yeah, but why? Like, what? Of course, it was. But I left to look at it. It was Yahweh. Yahweh is
yeah,
God.
right.
Like, it was a declaration of a personal God who revealed His personal name, and to say the Lord in just the way that we think about it in English, like, I was distracted to me, and I still, for the life of me, I still can't figure out why that's a. I mean, I know why. I know that they don't do it, but like, I don't think it is. There's. I like it. Like, when I pray, I will pray using that, not because it's a learned thing, but because it's a revealed a revealed name, his personal name
Right.
of our God that he gave to his people.
Right.
And it is an honor and a blessing to use it.
Now, okay, this is off. It's off the initial subject, but on this.
Yeah.
So Yahweh, Yehovah, or Yehovah, or whatever it is, like, is that another name for it, or is that the Jewish name that was a translation? Because I honestly don't know the difference between Yahweh and Jehovah, or whatever it is. Or am I just being crazy bringing that in?
Yeah, Jehovah's like a trans. It's kind of like Yahweh in that it's a transliteration, but it's also. I'm
asking this because Ben, you're much smarter than I am.
Yeah. I don't. I remember that. Like, I've looked into this like 3 different times, and every time I walk away saying I will not say Jehovah. Not for any particular like not heretical reason, but I just don't like it as the translation. Like it's like 2 steps away.
That's what I thought. I thought it was like a like in between the original texts and where we're at in English now.
Yeah,
Like
so it's
getting
just
mixed up somewhere
Yahweh
in
translated funny?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
What were we talking about a couple weeks ago? We're trying to figure out because Jesus is Yehoshua,
Right.
right? Like and like if you die and you go up there and you're like, "Where's Jesus?" and they're like, "Who?
Who's that?
Who?"
Even you say Yeshua, they're like,
They
nope,
probably
wrong.
mock you. Like
Yehoshua.
Woo! It's another Jesus guy.
Yeah.
It's one of them Jesus fellas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Yeshua another one of those situations then that it's like a half translation, half in between?
Yesh was the legit.
I thought Yehoshua was the legit.
Yehoshua was the long full name.
Oh.
Yeshua is like Michael and Mike.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right. I knew there was something there. I wasn't sure what it was.
Yeah.
Sorry, off topic. I apologize.
That's right.
Anyway,
Okay, so Nathaniel,
Yes.
10 years in, are you still
6 books later.
hello Yahweh, or shall I say home slice? Is that you?
Shall I say home slice? Please tell me, shall I say home slice?
I also remember there being something like I mean, I probably should have listened to this before I came in and
That would be
started
way too
yapping my
much
mouth.
work.
But that would have been way too much work.
I was trying to find it on my phone, and I was like, it's
good
just-
luck.
This isn't the way to do it.
I
yeah.
remember
10
there
years to
being
the day,
something
Dan.
like about friend, like calling God friend. Anybody else recalling?
Yeah.
this?
Well, so
Yeah.
I
well,
remember us
yeah,
talking
so
about
that's
the big
that's
dog
legit.
thing because that was someone in my life
Is that
at
in
that
John?
time was saying big dog.
17-ish?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Hey, big dog. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah, I wouldn't call God big dog.
Yeah.
I call Nathaniel big dog.
Yes, exactly. These are the right
Putting- yeah,
distinctions.
Putting
I
this
do
in
not
the right
call
real
Nathaniel
wheelhouses here.
Elohim.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say in the last 10 years, I'd say I've changed my ways.
Man,
And don't call God big dog or bro or I don't think I did before anyway. I think I just wanted to argue a point, like where I feel like I should be able to.
18-year-old jazzed up
my friend.
on Arizona
Yeah.
tea, and then 19-year-old probably jazzed up on something stupid.
Right. Look at these Pharisees in here on
Are
the show.
both going, yeah, man, it's totally okay to say this. It's
Yeah.
absolutely okay. You guys are just old and weird and reverent and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you fellas? Oh, have to say Lord. He's my friend.
yeah.
He's my buddy.
Actually, I stopped praying while peeing.
Good, man.
Reverence.
This is similar. Yeah, actually, because it was based on a conversation we have. Because like I find that when I'm just going in to go to the bathroom, it's just a time of peace and patience.
Ben,
And
I don't know what
it
that
occurs
says
to me
about
to
either
pray.
the short length of your prayer time or the long length of your peace.
I just
Yeah.
think to myself, hey man, this is a good time. But then I stopped doing it because I thought, remember we'd had a conversation. I want to say it's like 2 years ago, and it was about how the guys had whoever walked upon the altars, or like if you were going to walk up on an altar that you built in honor of Yahweh, you had to have underpants on because you can't show your modesty to an altar like
oh, yeah.
facing
Above it.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it made me think that, like, although, you know, there's an intimacy, there's a closeness in our notion of a relationship with God, maybe peeing as the prime time to fire up a prayer is not the right
Hey, man,
thought.
I don't know. Paul says pray without ceasing.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
sometimes you got to pee.
I've started a prayer during a bowel movement and said, okay, God, I'm just going to wait.
maybe I'm gonna wait.
It's probably
God,
inappropriate.
can I put you on the line for 5 minutes here for a second? Give
I'm
me
having
just
a BM.
Yeah, let me slide out of my BMs.
What
afterwards-
is the opposite argument for that? Well, God made us, and He knows we have those systems.
Well, at
So-
the end, I'm like, I know there's some Hebrew thing they would say after a bowel movement as a blessing, like, hey, thank you, God. It's like, hey, I don't know what that is, but thanks, God. That
I
was
mean,
great.
I think
And-
that's more being happy and about being healthy.
Yeah. I mean,
I think it really
depends
Hey,
on
God,
how
this is a good one.
you're
Everything's
living the
working.
rest of your life, right? Like if the only time you can find to talk to Yahweh is during the bowel
Right.
movement,
I think that's the problem.
God goes, "Oh, you got time to talk to me now?"
exactly.
You know.
Well, and how many people die in bowel movements?
Elvis.
It's a big deal.
Seven.
Aneurysms and stuff. I mean,
Actually,
Only one I know of.
I legit didn't know. I was waiting to see where that went. Like barely anybody, or like people all the time.
Yeah.
no, they do. They do.
One or two.
That's often one of the last things they do. And,
Well, I think that's the thing that happens right after it happens, though.
well, that
Like,
as
you-
well, but
you
also
go and then wham,
people have a hard
That's ironic.
time and they're putting a little
It's true.
pressure, and then things.
you die, you crap
On the
yourself most of
inside
the time.
pop.
Or not most
Well,
of the time.
that's what I'm
sometimes.
saying. That's ironic. You're in there probably pressing too hard because
Yeah.
things aren't going well, and then as soon as you die, stuff just flows.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
then it's like,
Well, 10
I'll let
years
you go
has
now.
brought us from a conversation about broing to, hey, man, is it cool if I talk to God while I poo?
I'm just saying I gave it up.
How great are we doing over the last 10 years, fellas?
Yeah.
We've really matured.
This feels like maturity, yeah. I'm
Yeah.
just...
The conversation has switched to the name we call God to, is it okay to do during the pee?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think your wife would appreciate your concentration on other things.
I suppose that's a very valid point.
Yeah, what happened?
Honey, I missed the toilet.
I got-
I was talking to God.
I got really praying.
I got
really
I got in the spirit in there.
I
and-
felt the spirit and I started dancing, and I'm really sorry about that.
It
I
looks
went
like
all
a-
David on it.
It looks like a
Everything.
carousel happened in here. I don't understand.
Isn't there a verse about? Maybe I'm misremembering, but I think there's a verse about like the Israelites and like their encampment, where they were instructed to do the business outside of the camp because
It's unclean.
the Lord is in the camp with them, and
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be a part of that.
You don't dookie with the Yahweh.
Hold on. Israelites poop outside the camp. Let's look at this.
Let's
Yeah,
find it.
I don't
Second
recall it, but-
hesitations.
The Torah requires all Israelite soldiers to carry a shovel with them for covering their feces outside the war camp because God is in the camp. Yeah, hold on. Hey, this is thetorah.com. This is fun.
You are the only person on the planet that has ever went, hey, this is the Torah.com. This will be fun.
I'm just saying. Says the Torah requires all Israelite soldiers to carry a shovel with them for covering their feces outside the war camp because God is in the camp. Jewish interpreters have grappled with the meaning of this law. The Qumranites and the Karaites assume feces must be impure. The rabbis extend the law to prayer and Torah study.
So don't poo while you're studying.
Why, yeah. And some medievalists interpreted
What
the
if you
law
get, like-
homiletically as a goal towards maintaining human decency at all times, even during war.
So that I always get confused when we're talking Torah stuff because there's like the original text and then there's the commentary and then there's the commentary on the commentary that's written in the outer areas. Is the original like don't poo in the war camp scripture?
Let's see. Deuteronomy 23.
Okay.
Yeah, when you go out as troops against your enemies, be on your guard against anything untoward. If anyone among you has been rendered unclean by a nocturnal emission, he must leave the camp.
A nocturnal
And
emission.
that's not pooing.
I was gonna say.
Toward evening, he should. I hope not. That's anyway. Toward evening, he
What
should-
happened? I nocturnaled myself.
I emitted nocturnal.
I
We're gonna-
nocturnaled my pants.
We're gonna let that one hold. All right,
Hey.
there shall
Dropped
be
a nocturnal.
there shall be an area for you outside the camp where you may relieve yourself. With your gear, you shall have a spike, and we have squatted. You shall dig a hole with it and cover up your excrement. Since Yahweh your God moves about in your camp to protect you and to deliver your enemies to you, let your camp be holy.
Well,
Let
is
him
this
not find anything unseemly among you and turn away from you.
Well, does that change now with modern toilets? Because the poo doesn't stay there.
I guess
What I'm
says shut
saying
the
is
lid.
maybe
Yeah, flush. If you poo, flush.
not while you're
Get it outta here.
Not while you're doing it though. Like we were just talking with the prayer time.
Yeah.
Pause on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hold on, here we
Let's
go.
play Tetris when you go on poo, and then you can go back to prayer time.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Check your
Do they
Facebook.
still do Tetris? I don't know.
Read it. I don't think anyone
Gross.
does Tetris.
All right, I'm going to read this later.
Yeah, when you're doing your calculations on your
All right, I
iPhones.
love this, but no one else
Yeah,
is
I'm gonna-
interested. But
I mean, he had some more detail about it, but we're going to leave it be.
Oh man, rough stuff.
All right, hey, you've been listening live from the path. Are we
I don't
wrong?
think they still are.
Maybe we're wrong. That's a good point, Dan. Yeah, if maybe we're right about this. That's what I want to hear. I want you to say, Ben, this sounds right, what you're saying. Keep the proper restrictions. Don't pray and poo. And don't call Lord any type of colloquial street names. Let us know on the complaint line, 515-517-0085.
You will be heard.
Call or text. Mike, we're going to get some advice before the day tarries.
dear life from the path,
Yes,
my husband recently started a new job.
that's me.
He works with a bunch of women, which is a switch from what I'm used to since all his previous jobs were with all men. These women, quotes, adore him, and I don't think the most are a threat, but two of them are very flirtatious, although he's not one to notice that stuff. He says they act like that with everyone, but I've tried to explain there are boundaries of what's acceptable for how a woman acts towards a married man. He thinks I'm overreacting and they don't mean anything, but they treat me differently when he's not around. I'm confident he wouldn't flirt back, but they seem to take his kindness as, quotes, accepting their behavior. I don't want them to think that it's okay with him, but he doesn't want to be rude since they all work together. What can be done? How can I get him to see what I see? Am I overreacting?
How does she know all this stuff?
Is it like work stories he tells her?
I don't know.
I bet
Obviously,
that's it.
obviously
no.
he's a daft fool.
No,
Yeah, he knows.
no, wait a minute. She says they treat her differently.
So,
So
she must
they have
know-
some relationship with her.
Well, though, also that would mean that she knows what's going on when she's not there. So that's why I think he tells her about stuff.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe she works in the same place.
Oh, that's possible.
Well, I mean that really ups
sounds
the ante.
vague, though. He
There's
has a new job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would argue that he doesn't know.
Yeah.
I
I don't
get it.
use
I
the-
get just.
I don't like to defend dudes, but I know a daft fool just like this that would have no idea if people
Really?
were hitting on him. No clue at all.
I've had this come up personally.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
You
I mean,
guys just straight don't know.
I can't even tell.
Nope. That's because it wouldn't occur to me that someone would do
I
such a
suppose
thing.
that's
Yeah.
true. That just like shows up my prideful nature when I'm like, I can tell something's happening
Yeah,
here. You
these
just calm it down.
they are totally digging me, and it makes sense.
Okay. Again, that's taking my words and blowing it up there.
Yeah.
I never once said, "Oh, they are." Did
Yeah.
you see that right there? Like, I get that I walk in the workplace.
Is that a
like
pancake?
tall drink
'Cause
of
everybody
water,
wants a little
and
bit of this
there's
hot
some
butter.
Thirsty gals. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
I've never met a thirsty gal in my life. I've literally told
That
the
doesn't
woman,
surprise me.
"Hey man, that gal was pretty nice," and she goes, "She was hitting on you." I'm like, no, she wasn't.
she's smart too.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I told you guys that when years ago, some gal invited me over, and she's like this gorgeous woman, and she was in lingerie, and I just was like awkward, and thought, oh man, this is like bizarre.
God, I came at the wrong time. I'm sorry.
It wasn't until like maybe in the last 2 years I thought, holy crap! I mean, it was truly an invitation.
Straight up coming on to you.
I just it was complete. I just thought, oh man, like I just need to be really nice to her because like she's obviously got something going on. And
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It just never occurred to me that like I could have left having experienced some things.
right.
2.5 minutes ago.
Can't probably say that.
2.5 minutes ago, I was 100% certain this guy has to know. 2.5 minutes later, I do not think he knew.
don't
Some
know.
people
And
are just
I also
naive.
now I'm going to look at every conversation I've had in the last 6 months and go, you prideful boob.
Yeah.
You were just like, oh my gosh, did you see that cashier at the Aldi? She was checking me out.
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the ground beef I was buying. And then my wife would go, no, she wasn't.
Yeah.
Dang it. I'm the exact opposite.
She liked the Diet
I
Dr.
really
Pepper.
came here guns a-blazing thinking, oh man, I can tackle this one. This guy's a jerk. And now I'm like, no, boo-boo, you're a jerk.
No.
You still are. You always have been.
Yeah.
Stop thinking everybody's hitting on you.
But he does need boundaries. He needs to figure that out.
That's the thing is like, how do you call foul on something that you don't take in?
Yeah.
So that's really hard, right?
just
If
need
your-
rules.
If
I
your
mean,
wife
boundaries
says,
need-
"Hey, listen, you got to stop them from flirting with you," and you
can't.
go, "I don't actually know when it's happening. I don't know what
Yeah.
to shut down."
That-
Well, I mean, you could tell. Like, there's things that are obviously over the line, like touching your arm and stuff, or gagging
Right.
at all your jokes, right? Like, you got to be some kind of self-important, bloviated fool that's like, "Boy, I'm so funny all the time." No, you're not. You bet yourself. You ain't funny almost ever.
Crap. All right. I also will say, if this gal is to the point where she's like asking to this about the life in the path line, like this has been bugging her for a while.
Yeah.
Either she has brought it up to him already, he is oblivious to it and doesn't care, or she's not comfortable enough communicating with him in their marriage to tell him this is making me uncomfortable and it's got to stop. Both of those things are problems.
Mm.
Like if she doesn't feel like she can tell him this and needs to bring it to us, that's a problem for communication. Or if she already has and he's blown it off, he's a boob.
I think the problem is her the phrase that I struggle with is like when she said, "I'm confident he wouldn't flirt back," but they seem to take his kindness as accepting their behavior. Kindness never means that.
Right.
Being kind to somebody does not mean you accept any behavior from
Right.
them. Just means you're being kind to them.
You could be kind and go, hey, that probably shouldn't happen anymore. You know I'm a married man.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
You can have that conversation and it's not awkward. And again, it's your wife. Like, what's happened to this point that she's still worried about this? If she's willing to say that she has no thoughts that he would like act on it or anything like that, but it still bugs her, that's also a problem. That she's probably got some trust issues with something, whether it's self-esteem on her end or trust on her end or whatever.
That's true. Because she
issues
never
also you have to
said
take
like
with
he
that.
would never do this because our marriage is strong. She
No.
basically said he wouldn't do this because he's a bulbous moron
Right.
and can't take anything in.
Right. I don't trust those girls though, so hopefully he just respects me and stops
Yeah,
it.
my husband
If
is
that's
too
the truth,
stupid to
then
take
stop
it in, and so like that's the defense.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So if what makes sense to me is that she's a little jealous.
Yeah.
Some other ladies are showing him attention, regardless of whether he's a particular risk or not. He doesn't seem to notice. He's not telling them to stop and whatever. She's not doing it, and so there's probably a combination of guilt and self-esteem here.
Right.
And so if any of that even remotely sniffs true, now's the time to double down on your
need
relationship
to
with your
talk about
husband.
that.
Not because you're afraid he's going anywhere, but because there isn't a reason for you to feel that way.
And she may need to talk to somebody about that self-esteem stuff. I mean, hopefully the husband can help with that. But like, if it's deep-seated that it's not even him, he may be the kind of guy that goes, "Baby, I would never do anything like that. I love you. I've never done anything close to that, but you're still feeling this way." There may be a point where she needs to go, okay, this is some stuff that I'm dealing with that I need to figure out too.
Well, yeah.
You need to be there as her husband and help her through.
Well, and his daftness may have meant that she has otherwise tried to encourage him and been a good wife to him, and he didn't notice that either.
Right. True.
And so, like, maybe he doesn't intend to suck, but maybe he sucks.
How do you cure a daft man? Sometimes they're just daft, and there ain't nothing you can do. They're daft.
Here's what I think they should do. They should go make one appointment at a Christian counselor and just go in and say, hey, here's the deal. Everything's great. Everything's healthy, but we want to keep it that way. Help us make ground rules because as a neutral person, because you're both going to come at it from a different angle. You need a neutral person that's not a friend to sit down and just say, oh, yeah, here. This
And
is
he'll
what I tell
go,
anybody.
I think she was flirting with me.
I mean,
no, she wasn't.
I mean, yeah, but they'd be able to cut through all that. It's like, well, whether they are or not, let's make some ground rules that both of you are happy with,
Right.
and so that you both will abide by it, because you want to protect the marriage.
And live those out and
Yeah.
respect for one another.
Yeah, and through that they might find issues she's got. And, hey, let's make a second appointment, but
Right,
but maybe not.
Yes.
I mean, who
Start
knows?
there, move from it.
Yeah,
I think that's a good thought. Is that if you don't let's say if he doesn't notice, but it's not right, then he shouldn't have any problem submitting to whatever the group thing is
Yeah,
to
exactly.
say, oh, hey, well, if they do this, then that needs to stop. He should just recognize and go, oh, you know what? I didn't even know this was the problem, but
I
this
see
can
it now.
stop here.
My wife sees it. It's got
That's right. I'll
Yeah.
shut this down.
Yeah.
I'd be a mess working with a bunch of women. I just never have. I've never done it. I wouldn't know how to. I mean, I wouldn't know how to. I don't know when I should laugh. When I can. When would I?
That's hysterical.
I just wouldn't know.
I've caught someone flirting with me like one time I can think of, and it made me so angry because I thought there's no possible way you mean this, right? Like they said something like blah blah blah. I'm like, what are you laughing at that for? It wasn't even funny.
That wasn't
like
funny.
I know how my jokes go over, and that isn't
that
genuine
wasn't funny
at all.
See,
Like it's almost insulting to have people flirt with you like that. Like it's super
You
irritating.
guys are saying
Like,
that.
I
I've
would-
literally worked with predominantly women my entire career.
It shows.
So I joke around with like waitresses and stuff, and I suppose if it was in a work setting, it'd be like flirting. I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm doing it with my wife sitting there. I mean, 'cause I don't even think of. I'm not thinking of it as flirting.
Boy, the
I don't know
stone's
how
on you,
she's
Dan.
interpreting it.
That's
and-
bold.
You know what's funny? And the realism of this is, so I have an entire team of girls. Like, I spend 38 hours a week with women, and that's basically it. I say I'm married probably 40 times a week. Like, whether it's in a story or whether it's like, oh, well, I'm a married man, so I get that. Like, I think that might be my defense mechanism of,
It probably is.
just a heads up, no,
Yeah.
no,
Hey.
no.
What level of pride do you have to have
I
to
don't
feel
know.
like you have to have all shields ablazing?
I know you all
at
want
all
me.
times.
You know what's funny? Is
All
I
38 of them are after me. It's like a steak in a lion's den around here. When
I know I
Booba
get
walks
that
in, just
disappointment
a
over
man
now.
musk
Here's
just
the deal.
comes out.
I have two modes. I'm either detrimental to myself to a very low point, or I walk in and I catch my eyes in a mirror and go, "This is what the Lord made."
That's right.
me," okay?
Fellas, I
am
can't even go to the
I
Walmart.
shall rejoice and be glad in this.
Yeah. I took an Uber and they paid me for have been in the car. Thanks for gracing our presence, Adonis.
I'm just saying. I've been working on the middle
Had
ground
to
for
buy
a
a
long
bat.
time.
Literally, I bought a bat to get rid of these women.
I'm either man, I look like a bridge troll. I can't believe I have a beautiful wife. I'm a bridge troll, or man.
See, that's how I am. That's why I'd be a mess.
Jesus, you made those eyes today.
That's
you
right.
You painted those with your glorious paintbrush, and you said you need a map out of these, big boy. Yeah. Huh.
Okay, all right. So now I need to change my ways at work. Like I'm gonna get on.
Ben's gonna try and get flirty.
I'm gonna get on the old Zoom call tomorrow, and it's like, oh, hey, well, I'm Ben, and this is my job or whatever. She goes, oh, I'm Sharon. Sharon, let's just be clear out up front. Married.
Yeah.
Sharon.
Okay.
See this right
Say
here?
it out
That's my
loud.
ring.
Yeah.
Ben is married already.
I did play it off like I say that at the beginning of conversations. I promise I don't. I'm
Right.
not just like, by the way, I know you're staring at me.
Yeah.
I am married.
That's right.
That's not what happens, but I just find myself through the course of conversation.
I can feel the sexual tension
That's
right
right.
now.
That's right.
I just want you to know.
And who
Get
wouldn't?
away from me, Satan.
Look at this state fair corn dog. You know what I'm saying? I can't.
I've never once said that, but that is now getting added to the arsenal.
No,
You ladies, they call me the museum. It's okay to take a peek, but you cannot
You
touch.
can look, but you cannot touch.
I literally work with all women, and it is a constant fight.
Man, I've been doing this. I've been doing this for 10 years. All right, I've been doing it for 10 years. I haven't been on this show in almost a year, and I literally just openly said I have to say I'm married almost 40 times a week.
Yeah.
We bring
Here's
out
what
your best.
fellas. Here's what I have not learned in 10 years. I have not learned to filter myself in any way, shape, or form, and think about the repercussions of the stupid things I'm saying.
Right.
My wife is going to look at this and go, "You and I both know you do not have to say that to us, but you think you do. You prideful monster. You stop it right now."
They don't
bought you
call
that
you El
t-shirt that says I'm
Fuego.
married.
Nobody looks at you and goes, "Ay, papi." Like, no, that's never once happened.
Ah,
You are
someone
not,
put a fire on our.
you are not the Antonio Banderas of the healthcare staffing agency you work for. No one has gone, "Man, look at those clothes today." Oh, crap. 10 years.
Nathaniel, have you ever been flirted with outside of your wife that you recall?
No.
Yeah.
I
By the way-
work with a bunch of maintenance fellas, and they don't flirt with me.
That's
Maybe
good.
that's what I need
And-
is a blue-collar job.
Yeah, you do.
Yes.
That's what you need.
Fellas,
That'll
here's
put
the
your
pro-
self-esteem right where it belongs,
Here's
too.
the problem is, though, if I do that, then all the guys are just going to be like, "I wouldn't, but I'd think about it."
I never thought about it till now.
Did you see that tall drink of water walk in
That's
today?
right. I know it's hard to believe in Greek gods, but I worked with one today.
Where did you hide the chisel in your bathroom this morning that you sculpted yourself with?
I always pack my lunch, but that guy brought hot dinner.
I mean, I think there's a reason that I have not lost the hundreds of pounds that I need to lose by now. Because if I'm this bad here, if I am in any way a normal human being, it's just going to be awful. I'm
Oh, man.
walking down the street like, "Can you stop? Can you please stop ogling
Yeah.
me, man?"
I'm just trying to walk here.
I'm walking
Yeah.
down the street. Don't
Son, follow me. Follow me, son. Follow me. Follow me. Taking a
don't
left.
catcall me, man. Get out of here.
Okay, we got to move on here. Secular
sorry.
says, you and your husband will be a lot happier if you stop obsessing about his work environment. Nowhere in your letter did you state that your husband has been unfaithful. I don't think we use that as a qualification. Well,
No, she feels this way for real.
yeah. I mean, we don't go, well, he's cheated in the past, so now we're worried about it. We're worried about it before he cheats. So
Right.
Yeah.
heads up there. It would be extremely inappropriate for you to confront his coworkers. If their, quotes, adoration gets to the point where he becomes uncomfortable, he can either tell them enough is enough or enlist the help of his supervisor or his boss. Yeah, call the boss.
Just talk to the people and go, "Hey, man, this makes my wife uncomfortable. It's got to stop."
Oh, boy. We got to get through this one. Ready?
Yeah.
Dear Live from the Path, I was lunching with a group of women when the waiter walked up and addressed us as you guys. Men would be highly offended if a waiter approached a table of men and referred to them as you ladies. To me, there needs to be another way of addressing women that does not insult them and expect it to be accepted. It would have been just as easy to say, "What can I do for you ladies today?" or something of that nature. One of the women at our table informed the waiter that we were a group of women, not men. Was she right to correct him?
No.
No. I've never once said, "Hey, guys," thinking about the gender of the group of people.
I've been called ladies as a joke. It's like, "Hey, ladies."
Yeah.
My coach used to always call us that. I mean,
I don't think that was more of a joke. I think that was just a 1970s coach being a jerk, man.
right.
Yeah, let's move it, ladies.
Yeah, yes. You got animal housed by a coach.
Yeah.
Chop your feet, ladies.
Come on, Miss Hudson. Move it.
Your drill sergeant was trying to make you run faster. Just a heads up.
It worked.
Yeah. No, I've never heard the. I've never said
That's
guys.
stupid.
Yep.
I will say that I've been conscientious of it a couple times, and I thought to myself, like, should I say guys? But then I end up saying guys anyway because it's just it's not
Stop being
gendered to
offended.
me.
Yeah, just grow up. Stop it.
They're not in any way assuming that any of you are actually men. Your femininity is not in any way being challenged or undermined. We're saying, hey, guys.
No, I think she left the house and her husband goes, "Hey, you forgot your triangles." And she came back and got them out and then took the triangles out to the restaurant with her to be.
I didn't
mean.
know where that was going.
I didn't
What?
know where it was going either. I thought you were talking about triangles as in the musical instrument,
Yeah.
and I was confused.
That would've
Did
made a
she
lot of
say
sense.
she
That would've made a
dinner
lot of
belled it
sense.
on the way in there?
You
Yeah.
guys don't use that phrase, the triangles?
No, no one's ever said that.
She got
you
the
are
triangles
the only
out?
person on the planet that uses
I don't.
that.
I don't get those channels.
It's the triangle.
You,
Okay,
you
here we
could be
go.
That's more
offended
than
if the
basic
guy
cable.
came up and said, "Hey, is your husband here? Where should I send the bill?"
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that'd
right?
be. Yeah, then you guys suppose you could be offended.
Yeah. Who brings in the bacon in this household that's going to pay for all you ladies to be here? That's a chauvinistic statement.
Yeah.
Not, hey,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, do you guys all love the same man, Buva? And you went out to lunch together?
Right. I have different problems as a waiter. I go up there and go, now, when I bring the check back, nobody write your number. I don't want your number.
Please, it's awkward for me.
Don't give me a bigger tip because you think that I'm good looking. Just,
I'm married.
Just text me.
I
Right
am
now.
married.
I was reading on the net this week.
Sweet Moses, that's one heck of a statement already.
Yeah. I was reading on the net. Is this lady going on about how fellas opening the door for ladies is some sort of patriarchy?
Look at your butt.
No, it's like them. You can only enter this place by my permission. You know.
Wait, hold on. Sorry, I gotta pause your statement.
Sure.
Is that why you hold open the door?
No, but I've heard that from 1,000 people. I've literally heard Facebook arguments. I've seen this kind of stuff where gals are like, I don't like men holding the door open for me because I feel like it's just another way for them to
What
catch
if the
a look
door
at my
swings
butt.
in? Then you're standing in front of them.
I didn't really go that far into the argument, Mike.
I don't open that many doors that swing out, I guess, now that I think about it. Most of them go into the room. And so you open it and then you hold it.
I want
behind
you
you.
to take a tally in the next week of door directions, and you tell me what the actual what the
okay.
split is.
Okay, all right.
So
that's right.
anyways,
I was just checking. Go ahead.
This fella chimed in back at her, and he said that he likes to run in front of women and then hold the door closed, and that way they have to fight it open so that they can really win over the patriarchy.
That's freaking awesome. I
And,
didn't expect it
I like that.
That made me breathe a little more air out of my nose than normal.
Is that your weird way of saying you laughed?
I was like, you're reading something on your phone or whatever, and you go, like you don't actually ever laugh at anything.
You just breathe more air out of your nose than normal. I feel like I'd just say, I laughed at that.
I thought that was funny.
Oh, man. All right, what's
Secular. Secular says, the use of the word guys is decidedly casual. I'm sure your server, who I'll bet was a young person, didn't okay.
Yep.
He was a dummy. Who I'll bet was a young person, didn't intend to insult anyone when he addressed your group as you guys. While I would not have been offended, clearly your tablemate was, and because she was offended, she has a right to speak up, as long as she did it in a way that didn't embarrass the server.
I would say, hey, did you appropriately tell the people your pronouns before they took your order?
Right, were you
Because
wearing your badge that
how can they
says
know
she,
whether or
her?
not they're offending you?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
don't-
here's the thing. As much as a right as you have to be offended, the waiter has as much right to go, I feel like you're overreacting.
Yeah.
And that without...
Which they won't do because then you'll get in trouble.
That's right, because then you'll be in big trouble. But like, I think it's produced a lot of the problems that we have now is people's sensibilities. You can't even chip it. You can't even chip the surface of a sensibility anymore. And people are like, you've done this on purpose. It was premeditated. You sat at home, said, I hope there's going to be a group of ladies here that I can call, hey fellas, or guys, and then everybody can be mad at me. Like, is an offhanded comment. He didn't mean it. Like, he didn't mean it that way or the way that you're expecting him to mean it. And I suppose if he did, then you should probably let him have it. Right? Like, if he's like, hey, women, I guess, but I'm going to call you guys because I think you're dudes. Mustaches or whatever. I don't know. I don't know what he could have possibly said that would have made it seem like he was actually trying to offend you.
The concept of gender roles and gender identities and this stuff is so, like, explosive at this point in time that I feel like people are heightened to the possibility that they're being incorrectly assumed at their gender, right? Like, we're women, don't call us guys. This would not have been a conversation 20 years ago. It would not have been something that became a thing. It would have just been, yeah, that server said, hey, guys.
Yeah.
But right now, because of the volatile nature of this, right, it's huge. It's big, and people need to worry about it in their minds. But again, yeah, no, it's not something that needs to be dealt. If you offended, you have every right to say I'm offended.
Yeah, I mean,
but that person doesn't have to in any way think to themselves and shouldn't think to themselves, okay, what are the pronouns of everyone at this table right now? Do I need to make sure that I'm not assuming any genders? Do I need to use non-gendered speech and just go, hello, humans? Hi, people. It's just being friendly.
Yeah. I mean, I think there should be a recognition that, like, for all our attempts at trying to affirm our own individualism, you're losing out on the connection that you actually want. Right? Like, if that's going to be the point of separation, like, oh, hey guys, hey, we're ladies. Okay, Madge, thanks. Like, what? And, like, what is it? Now what? Now what did we do? Did we become closer as humans? Like, what did you solve? What did that make you feel closer? It's just an assertion. This thing where it said basically I need myself on full display all the time, and I'm not willing to accept the way people are taking the world in until I get it straightened out. Like, that is 10 keys to the same ignition of, like, you don't have no friends because you're a turd, and, like, no one wants to deal with you because your fire is burning all the time.
Yeah.
Like that's not you don't make community, you don't make friends, you don't find people that can surround you and be in relationships and communities with you if you got that fire lit all the time on your own self-protest. And so I guess regardless of what you're trying to defend, just recognize that like if your banner's out all the time, the very thing that you desperately need and want, you're never going to get by setting yourself ablaze wherever and lighting up anybody who doesn't take you in the exact way that you want to be taken in. That's dumb. And you're missing out, and that would be too bad.
Yeah, that's it.
2 advices?
Yeah. Oh, you want to do one more?
Yeah, do one more. I wasn't ready.
Okay, so last one. Here we go. Dear Life from the Path, my boyfriend of 11 years has a 16-year-old son from a previous relationship. Yesterday, his son had a job interview, and not only did my boyfriend accompany him into the interview, he also answered the questions for his son. I tried to explain to him that parents don't do that, but he thinks I'm just being critical. Doesn't it look bad if parents go along into interviews?
Everything that was said before he went into an interview with his son was irrelevant. Yeah. Yes, that's weird, and he should not get that job.
She's been the mom figure for 15 years now.
Right, I was going to say,
it's like you're bringing that up. You're bringing up old. Yeah.
It doesn't. None of that was in any way relevant to that question.
No.
The question should have been, Dear Live from the Path, is it weird for someone to go in, regardless of their relationship, and answer the questions of an interview?
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Anyone besides the person that is interviewing for the job.
Right. If I've got your resume and it says John Smith, and I ask you if your name is John Smith, and you say no, you are no longer the person I'm talking to.
Yeah. I don't know why the interviewer even put up with
That's what I
this.
was just about to ask. I wonder if the interviewer actually... honestly, as I've done interviews before, I would totally let that interview happen just to say I was in an interview that did that. Because I think half the time people that do interviews just want a good story out of it.
I mean, it's a 16-year-old, so it's probably like a Burger King or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's a local store.
Yeah,
or
but I
Burger
mean, I
King or
can't even
something.
trust you to speak on your own behalf. I'm going to let you take orders and open the cash register?
Right.
No,
If someone is a special needs situation, where they would need someone to come in and help them with the answers, and it's just part of that kind of relationship, whatever that looks like, I think that's fair. But if it's just random schmo, that's like my dad came with me, and he's going to tell you if I'm a team leader or not, and if he's going to tell you if I have good customer service skills. What?
Well, yeah, I mean, I really hope that she would have mentioned it if it was some sort of like
special needs deal.
Yeah, so a courtesy item.
Again, I don't think that's the situation. I think that's the other situation, which I'd say, all right.
Yeah.
But that doesn't sound like this. I would say absolutely not.
Yeah, that's weird. But
regardless of the realm, no.
Yeah. So actually, here's the only thing I would say from a relationship perspective is like you don't have to meet every problem head on. They're gonna figure out that this was the wrong thing to do when the kid doesn't get the job. Just let it play out. Like
then you coach them.
Yeah.
What did they ask?
Feedback.
What did you say?
Why didn't Nicholas get this job? Because Dad answered all the questions.
Because Scott was in there.
Scott was creepy in there, sitting there going, son, I got this one.
Yeah.
Scott says Dave's a great communicator. It's like,
It's the most ironic answer ever.
Yeah, Archie boy, shut up. Anyway.
Don't you open your mouth, boy.
Yeah, I think
deliverance on that, but whatever.
I think it's all right. I think you got to let that go. I think just let it go. They'll learn the lesson on their own. Here's the deal. The easiest way to end up in a real problem in a relationship is to be the person who meets every problem at the gate on its way in. Like sometimes just let other forces teach it and Dan's right, be on the other side of it and then encourage it. Even if you saw it a week ago, just let it go. It'll come back around.
What if they don't learn their lesson though? What if they go to the BK and they get rejected and they're like, we're just let's try the blimpy this time. And then,
John has not gotten the last 5 jobs that I've interviewed at him for.
Here's what I'm going to tell you. If you do it the first time, the very first time it happens, you say you really shouldn't do this. It's a matter of opinion. It's your inexperience against their inexperience.
After a while, it's
the third time, it's a much more productive conversation.
Speaking, 100% of these have been failed because of this
Yeah.
factor.
That's right. That's right. I'm just like anytime you can eliminate not just being your opinion and you look like someone who's trying to be right, it's better off in the relationship. It's okay to sit it out for a minute.
Wow, Ben came in and answered a bigger question. Thanks, Ben.
and honestly, at this level of a job that it has to be, it's okay to call the next day as the dad and say, "Hey, little Johnny didn't get the job. Can you just tell me what
how can I help him?
How does he need to improve?"
Yeah.
How can I help him as a dad? Was he an idiot? Like,
I would think most managers would be like,
rip
"Oh
a
yeah, I'd
fart
love
in
to
the
tell
corner
you."
and then go, "That's what I can offer your company." Like,
Tell him to stop picking his nose during the interview.
Oh, why would he say that? Why would he do?
The only reason I thought of that is when I was at one of the first companies I worked for, when I was learning how to do interviews, we were hiring for temps, And we were so desperate for people that the HR manager literally said, if they don't crap in the corner, you cannot bring to me a no on their interview sheet. He goes, I don't care what their skills are. I don't care what they think they're good at or not good at. I don't care if they're awkward as all get out. If they do not, he says this word for it, they do not defecate in the corner, we are hiring them. And that has stuck with me since then of hiring practices not to follow by Troy. Do not tell your interviewers that as long as they don't dump in the corner, they've got the job, regardless of the need for demand or for supply.
Well, it would really stink. Well, first of all, that would stink. But like a guy walks in and like after that big pep talk and goes,
excuse me.
"Hey man, is there any chance I could defecate in the corner?"
Here's the deal.
You
if
kidding
in the
me?
worst situation, the dude has like a combo of Crohn's and IBS,
Right.
and then just got back from the lunch Indian buffet, right?
Oh, my
Like,
bag spilled over.
Worst situation
Yeah.
of like, I can't stop this. Oh no.
I'm going to the
least-
corner.
At least, yeah, I'm going to the corner so I don't crap in my pants or your chair. I at least respect that person and go, you don't have the job, but we don't have to talk about this.
That's
Just
right.
leave and we'll walk away.
Yeah.
entirely.
Whoa, take that with you. Yeah.
You take that garbage.
Hold on.
can with
You brought it in. You take it out.
Did you see the Walgreens sign on the just 2 blocks from here?
No.
It says hiring anybody who will work is what it says.
Oh, that's
I saw that
fantastic.
tonight. I'm like, wow, you're desperate.
I want to show up and be like, I don't live here. Can I work?
Hey, man, did you see that the Steak and Shake?
yeah.
Shut down temporarily.
Yeah.
Why?
I only know that
Because
I was
everyone's
really
got
sad
the
about
Biden bucks.
Yeah.
They don't have to.
yeah, they don't
Everybody
have
I
enough
know,
workers.
the restaurants they're really suffering right now because nobody will work.
That and I heard Steak and Shake has 2-hour-long lines.
Yeah, it's like
legitimately.
really.
So if you're getting paid $13 an hour, you're not
You're
doing
like,
it for a 2-hour.
I'm gonna go to
rush
Walgreens.
hour.
Right.
I'm going to Walgreens where they'll hire anybody that'll work.
Yeah.
Literally anybody.
Arnold Palmer's.
That is an HR nightmare.
For real.
50 cents.
Yeah.
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 I was going to take a picture, but then
To heck
there
with
were
the
people
ADA
there that I didn't wanna be-
requirements and stuff. We will hire anybody who walks in here and says I'm working.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, you've been listening live from the path.
Let's back out.
I've had enough of Booba. You can't be on again next week.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Thanks for coming in, Booba.
Yeah, it was good to be here. I appreciate you guys.
Come back on Mondays.
Huh?
Come back on Mondays.
It's a bit of a drive to just be here on Monday night.
He's not gonna make
We're
it.
all driving.
Yeah, that's true.
I have 876 miles to drive.
Whatever.
Yeah. And 876 ladies to fend off on my way
yeah.
here.
You should see me at truck stops, fellas. I'm like, ladies,
No.
not a thing.
Calm down.
And then they're like, wait, we're not ladies, we're guys. And I go, oh, crap, the
Yeah.
gendered conversation hits again.
I'm just here to pay the toll. Can you just let me be?
Yeah, that'll be $20. Well, that'll be my wedding ring. Please.
I don't know what you
Do
mean
you
by
see the
stamp
fact
my
that this
ticket.
is a circle?
That's
It
right.
means it never ends.
I keep my 20 with my marriage license, which I keep on me.
Just so
see
you
this
know.
picture that I have up on me
Yeah.
of my wife.
Let me throw some sand on that thirst. I'm sorry.
Bring back the desert for this situation. Again, I will say, in 10 years, I learned not to say big dog when talking to God, but I have not learned when to just shut
Nope.
up and not bring up a
Yeah,
story.
that's actually that's the part you didn't know is that when Lot's wife turned around, she was looking for Booba.
Don't turn around and you'll be a pillar of salt. Well, I'm already thirsty enough.
Just one more glance.
It was worth
He's
it.
like, you shouldn't be looking.
All right. We love you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll hopefully see you next week. In the meantime, be faithful to means. God will handle the ends. You've been listening to
I was going to say it.
Live from the Path.